this video, we are going to focus on offensive or contra fouls that occur within the center forward area, the hot spot of every water polo game. In the center forward area, the most physical action and reactions will take place. After all, the center forward is always trying to hold an available or favorable position to or for receiving the ball from his peripheral teammates. It's without a doubt the prime focus of attention for the attack referee. It's usually the spot where the most exclusion fouls are called. Offensive or contra fouls, on the other hand, represent a smaller number by comparison. However, they can be significant. When called, they can abruptly change the rhythm and momentum of a game. Well, let's take a look at several situations where offensive or contra fouls can be called and why they should be. Hooking can typically be used to control the defender by reaching up and over the shoulder, usually with the non-dominant hand. The center forward will pull down on the defender's shoulder, making it look like the defender is going over the top of the center forward with one arm and creating the illusion that the defender is sinking the center forward. The technique creates leverage on the defender, pulling him off balance and freeing up the center forward's dominant side for movement to the ball to step out, turn in, or attempt a backhand shot. Take a look at the following example clip. This clip illustrated a pretty clear demonstration of hooking that wasn't called and resulted in a goal being scored. Now you can take a look in slow motion to see how the technique was executed by the center forward. The center forward clearly reaches up and over the center forward defender's left shoulder, pulling him down to the left, freeing the center forward's right side to allow easy access to the ball. The maneuver created plenty of space and time to score the goal. The hook and pull down were above water and visible. The goal should have been disallowed and the ball immediately turned over. Here is another example of hooking technique that was missed by the referee. This example is a little more subtle and harder to detect, but still above the surface and to the side of the attack referee. This hooking technique was enhanced by the center forward's backward pressure on the center forward defender. Now, let's take a look in slow motion. Notice that after the center forward's backward push, the center forward defender gets both arms up, exposing the center forward's left hand on the left arm. A good time to call the offensive or contra foul. If you look closely enough to the clip action, you could see that the center forward hooked the left arm of the center forward defender early before he started a backward thrust. It was pretty subtle, but was very visible when the center forward defender exposed it while getting both arms up. Offensive or contra foul should have been called when it was exposed. A good center forward will attempt to move the center forward defender back if he has front or ball side position, to get as close to the 2-meter line as possible. In the process, if he or she is skillful and strong enough, They can get the center forward defender to drop their hips and get more vertical as they ride up on the defender. This process makes it easier to step out to the ball when it arrives. However, as a referee covering the 2-meter area, you need to be aware of how the center forward executes this particular skill set. A movement back with the head and shoulders that is too vigorous can be a player safety issue. Headbutt. The skill needs to be executed tactfully without jerky backward thrusts, otherwise an offensive or counterfoul can result. When done properly, the center forward has a great opportunity to create an attempt on goal or draw an exclusion foul. Let's take a look at a couple of examples of an offensive or counterfoul. Now, take a look in slow motion. You can see the center forward's head actually makes contact with the center forward defender's head, a definite player safety issue, and a good call by the attack referee. This next clip shows some sophisticated maneuvering by the center forward to position the center forward defender in a vulnerable position. There are 2 phases to her movements. Initially, she lunges back into the center forward defender using her left hand to reach around the backside of the center forward defender. She appears to grab the suit and pull on the center forward defender who struggles. The center forward moves to the ball, but you can see her left arm is still on the center forward defender as she reaches for the ball. Her next move is to pull the center forward defender and basically headbutt into the defender's body, letting go of the ball in an attempt to draw a foul. Take a look.
Offensive foul call. The center turns it over to Hawaii. 2:45 on the clock.
The center forward has the center forward defender's suit, pulls in, lets go of the ball, and lunges into the center forward. The attack referee was sharp and caught the pull-in hold and head invasion into the center forward defender's body and calls the correct offensive or counterfoul. Referees need to be very vigilant when it comes to women's suit holding, especially at the center forward position, as you will see in this next clip. Reaching out and grabbing the front or the side of the suit to hold position or gain an advantage is an offensive foul.
Offensive turns it over.
The extended arm and the center forward defender's response was the telltale sign for the referee to call the offensive foul. All referees should remember exposure by either the offense or defensive player would be an exclusion foul. Center forward positioning to move inside the 2-meter line to receive a pass for any attempt needs to be timed perfectly. This next clip shows a women's center forward position, the center forward defender, for a P5 pass cross cage. She executes a good release from a lockup, but the move puts her inside the 2-meter line before the ball, resulting in an offensive or counterfoul. The center forward effectively released from the lockup, but was inside the 2-meter line before the ball. Inside the 2-meter line was the correct call for a turnover. This clip will show a solid push-off to backstroke by the center forward to attempt and receive a dry pass from the top perimeter. The telltale sign for the covering official is the center forward's action and the reaction response by the center forward defender. Since the center forward is moving away from the attack referee, it's difficult to see the actual push that created the spacing. But if the focus is on how the center forward defender responds, you can tell whether or not the center forward's actions were legal or illegal. Referees need to be careful not to assume that there was a push-off. Rather, see center forward defender's body change position as the spacing is created. Often, a center forward in this situation can gain an advantage without pushing off the center forward defender, because their defender momentarily got caught not paying attention to detail. The center forward defender's head and shoulders appear to move away from the center forward as she swims off on her back. The offensive foul call by the referee was correct. Ducking under to gain an advantage position is an offensive or contra foul. This next clip will show an example of a duck under attempt by the center forward to gain ball side position on his defender. The center forward moving down into position on transition tried to go under the defender to get a ball side position, only to be blocked by the defender and correctly called for the offensive foul by the referee. Holding to maintain position or gain an advantage position is an offensive or contra foul. This next clip will illustrate the center forward grabbing and holding the center forward defender to maintain an inside water position. As the ball moves down to the deep P5 position, the center forward pushes off his defender in an attempt to receive an inside water pass, but is quickly called for the offensive foul. The center forward is clearly holding his defender to keep the inside water position and wait for the pass from P4 perimeter. The attack referee makes the timely and correct offensive foul call as the ball comes into the center forward as he pushes off the center forward defender to move to the ball. The next clip will show how a center forward attempts to control the center forward defender by using a hold to leverage the defender for ball side position. The center forward holds his defender, attempting to prevent him from moving behind so he can set ball side position for a pass. The referee correctly calls an offensive foul for the turnover. In this clip, the offensive or contra foul is quite obvious since it takes place above the water in full view. But you'll see why it could have been called quicker by the referee.
Offensive foul on the center, it's number 12.
The center forward uses his upper arm above water to control the center forward defender's movements, but finally gets called for the offensive foul. Hopefully, these 11 clips will provide you with good insight on what to look for in officiating the center forward position from an offensive foul perspective. If at any time you are in doubt, a no call is always best. Offensive fouls at the center forward position, for most of the time, are far and fewer than exclusion fouls on the center forward defender. It's definitely a true battleground and the most difficult area for a referee to call. Comments and questions are welcomed. Just email Ed Reed at officials@collegiatewaterpolo.org.